is challenging for families everywhere. Kids need their parents now more than ever. Hi, I'm Jade Elliott, and we at KUTV are proud to join with Utah's premier parent resource organization, Uplift Families, to present their third annual televised special, Parenting Tips. Now, over the next hour, we'll learn ways to strengthen our families, better communicate with our kids, and keep them safe in today's challenging world. Uplift Families is a nonprofit organization that supports families by connecting parents with valuable information and trusted resources that improve parenting skills. Upliftfamilies.org, their website, it showcases videos, articles, and additional information that helps parents and families. The highlight of the website is a state-of-the-art parent resource center that features over 1,000 vetted links to trusted information sources. Finding answers to your parenting questions is right at your fingertips. Uplift Families has partnered with the organization Resilient Utah to help children become stronger and rise above the pressures of today. As a part of that effort, the Resilience Building Toolkit is available to homes throughout the state and on upliftfamilies.org and resilientutah.org. Included in that toolkit is a series of music videos, resources, and a link to the Uplift Families Parent Resource Center. To kick off tonight's show, here is the song Resilient, written by Steve James and arranged by Kurt Bester. Included in the Resilience Building Toolkit, the music video features the talented David Osmond, Jesse Funk, the Bonner family, and other Utah artists, with choreography by Emmy Award-winning Bonnie Story. Here is Resilient.
Knocks me down, I get off the ground, promise myself to keep on going.
If the going gets tough, 'cause life can be rough, I know that I'll keep growing.
Hard things we go through make us stronger in the end.
That's how we grow. I know that I can know tomorrow. Rise above the sorrow, I can be the hero. I am resilient. I have the power to overcome. I am resilient. I have the strength to carry on. If I'm feeling alone or left on my own, I will reach out to lift another.
When I give of myself to those who need help, I find that we can heal each other.
Hard things we go through make us stronger in the end.
That's how we grow. I know that I can earn tomorrow. Rise above the sorrow, I can be the hero. I am resilient. I have the power to overcome. I am resilient. I have the strength to carry on. And no matter what stands in my way, any mountain I can climb.
'Cause I find hope in every day, and now it is my time to be resilient. I have the power to overcome. I am resilient. I have the strength to carry on. We are resilient. We have the power to overcome. We are resilient. We have the strength to carry on. We are resilient. We have the power to overcome. We are resilient. We have the strength to carry on. We are resilient.
I grew up in between Baltimore and DC in a family of 12 kids, 5 brothers, 6 sisters. Both my parents had some mental health challenges. My mom had social phobia, generalized anxiety disorder, had a fear of leaving the house. You have to leave the house to go get food. So there wasn't a lot of food to eat sometimes in my house growing up.
Don't tell anyone, but my dad was one of the highest level code breakers at the National Security Agency. You could give my dad any mathematical problem and he could instantly rattle it off the top of his head. My dad was autistic. He was a genius, but he had very little common sense or social skills. If you've ever seen that movie, A Beautiful Mind, you've met my dad.
So having two parents with some mental health challenges put me in a situation where I ended up being a street kid. I could hang out till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on a school night, had very few rules, very few boundaries. One night, I was out late at night and a car pulls up and I hear a voice. And the voice I hear is the voice of a woman who I endearingly call Mama Jackson. It was one of my best friend's moms who sees me out there, late at night.
Christian had so many obstacles that was going on in his home.
She knows what I'm out there doing, and she says, look, don't you ever set foot on our property. I'm gonna call the school tomorrow. I'm gonna make sure you're not in any of Sean's classes. I remember thinking to myself, dang, I know I'm bad, but I'm not that bad. I can never go to school with him ever again.
When you see a child that's hungry, there's no happiness there. You're thinking about what other kids have.
Going to school was very difficult for me. As a child, I was diagnosed with ADHD, conduct disorder, and severe learning disabilities. When I was sitting in a classroom, oftentimes, I was embarrassed. When I got called out loud, I would act up and get in trouble instead of embarrassing myself because I didn't know how to read or didn't know how to do basic math. So, for me, it was like going to the doctor's office every day, going to school. I had a hard time telling time. When I was even 17 years old, I couldn't tell time on a hand clock. To me, 4:45 to 5 equals 25 minutes to 5, but they tell me 1/4's 15.
When we concentrate on that more to make sure that a child's needs are provided for, then that child will thrive. I know that I'm loved, and I know that this person is going to feed me.
Mama Jackson took over and said, look, if you start going to school every day, I want to see your report cards. If you start answering to me, you can come eat in our house anytime you want. Now, Mama Jackson was a seriously good cook. That's one of the reasons why I'm in top physical condition right now. But anyways, I was very blessed to have Mama Jackson come into my life. It was kind of an informal foster care situation. She took over and really started giving me skills of resilience. It had a huge impact on my life.
One of his teachers in high school said to him that he would never go to college. Christian went to college.
Not only did Christian Moore go to college after graduating from high school, but he became a licensed clinical social worker, an advocate for youth, and an internationally renowned speaker. He is the author of The Resilience Breakthrough, 27 Tools for Turning Adversity into Action, and the creator of the Why Tribe program, which has been implemented in over 25,000 organizations. Christian has flown over 6 million miles and reached more than 3 million kids. He and his wife have 2 sons. Christian Moore.
One of the hardest jobs, if not the most difficult job on this planet, is being a parent. But what's interesting is, as a parent, when we do mess up, we make mistakes, it's a great opportunity to teach our children resilience as they see us take our own difficulties, our own challenges, our own suffering, and bounce back. That's a powerful example to our children. So, to own our mistakes, to help our kids understand that we learn from our mistakes, that we use life's challenges as a reason to work harder, to be kinder. The human condition is to mess up, to make mistakes. But where the resilience is born is in, that suffering, in role modeling, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm going to use my challenges as a reason to work harder at work, to try to be a more loving father, a more loving husband. As we role model that for our kids, it can be life-changing for ourselves and for our children. During the day, we have 40 to 60,000 different emotions during the day. Some of those emotions are going to be positive. Some of those emotions are going to be negative. The ability to create a productive outcome with your negative emotions are just as important. It's just as important as maximizing your positive emotions. And if you think about it, if you can maximize both your positive and negative emotions, you have twice the fuel source to bounce back. If you have to wait for positive emotions to show up before you put one foot in front of another, you're actually at a resilience disadvantage. So again, you have twice the fuel source to bounce back if you can maximize both your positive and negative emotions. There's no law in the universe that says you cannot take negative emotions and create a productive outcome with them, You can use negative emotions as a fuel source. And again, it's what makes you human. The fact that you mess up, you make mistakes. What's most special about humans is their imperfections. And it's within those imperfections that our vulnerability comes to the surface. And it's only through being authentic and vulnerable that humans bond together, that they connect. I really want my kids to have the ability to get through life's lows than being, quote, successful. Sometimes we don't know how to define success. Success can be fleeting. But I think it's a much, much higher principle to have the ability to bounce back, to be resilient than being, quote, successful. Now, what's interesting is, as we are resilient and we have the ability to put one foot in front of another, it does lead to more consistent success. Because if you have the tools to get through life's lows, you're going to be able to bounce back and, create those successes, have more opportunity in life. But as a parent, I really want my kids to understand that it's in the striving to be resilient. It's in, again, putting one foot in front of another when you have every reason to shut down. That's really the birthplace of resilience.
Sarah Kimmel is a Microsoft certified IT manager with over 20 years in the IT industry. She is a family tech expert and a digital parenting coach. Now, Sarah regularly contributes to a number of different local news and lifestyle shows and has a popular social media presence where she helps families understand and manage the technology in their homes. Helping parents from around the world lead their children through this digital world is her mission. Sarah and her husband have 2 children.
Hi, I'm Sarah Kimmel, your family tech expert, and I'm here to share some internet safety tips to help keep your family safe online. The first tip I have is setting up parental controls. A lot of people think that parental controls is just a set and forget kind of thing, or they have one program for parental controls and they think they're good. Unfortunately, parental controls need to exist on multiple layers in order to truly keep your children safe online. The first layer is in-app parental controls. A lot of people aren't aware that many apps include built-in parental controls that you can set. For example, TikTok has parental controls that you can set for an account underneath your own TikTok account. Roblox also has parental controls that you can set. There are many apps that have parental controls built in, and this is going to be your first line of defense in protecting your kids from the online world. Stay tuned for layers 2 and 3 coming up.
Uplift Family's resources and information are helping parents build stronger families and resilient kids, but we need your help. Please scan the QR code and make a tax-deductible contribution today.
I am resilient.
Building resilience is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Visit resilientutah.org and click on the Resilience Building Toolkit for Families. Simply watch the Something Good Inc. children's show. Review questions and challenges after each music video, then discuss and set family and individual goals. We are Resilient Utah.
2 News is your first alert weather station.
First to alert you when severe weather is coming.
Heavy rainfall, lots of lightning. First to alert you on changing road conditions.
So plan ahead for at least 1 hour longer tomorrow to get to where you're going.
First to the scene, showing how weather will impact your neighborhood.
2 News is first to alert you on air,
online,
and on your phone,
so you can prepare.
Here's what to expect throughout today.
Know first.
Turn to 2 News First Alert weather coverage.
Parenting Tips, presented by Uplift Families, KUTV Channel 2, Kiwanis Bonneville Salt Lake, WCF Insurance, Dominion Energy, Merit Medical, and the Larry H. Miller Company.
My advice to parents anywhere out there is just to listen to us when we talk to them, because sometimes we have an emotion and we can't name it, and it's really hard to name it.
I want my parents to know that they're doing a great job, and even though I may seem irritated or upset with them, I'm really not, and I really appreciate everything that they do for me, even if I don't say it all the time.
My mom is really good at talking, and not even if it's to find a solution, just to have someone to talk to is always great, and she always knows what to say.
Tonight, we pay tribute to the founder of Uplift Families, former First Lady of Utah, Jeanette Herbert, and also her husband, former Governor Gary R. Herbert. Both were born and raised in Utah County, where Gary would eventually serve as a county commissioner for 14 years. They met each other while attending college. After the two married, they settled down in Orem, where they raised their family. Gary served 6 years in the Utah National Guard and started a successful real estate brokerage and development company. He served as the past president of the Utah Association of Realtors and the past president of the Utah Association of Counties. While Jeanette was busy being a mother, she ran a commercial child care and preschool for 23 years and operated an hourly drop-in center for children for 13 years. Involved with the community, she was named Businesswoman of the Year by the Provo-Orem Chamber of Commerce and received the Utah Valley Chamber of Commerce Women Making a Difference Award. In 2009, after serving as Lieutenant Governor for 5 years, Gary R. Herbert became Utah's 17th governor, and Jeanette became First Lady. As governor, Gary Herbert served as chair of both the Western Governors Association and the National Governors Association, in addition to being the national president for the Council of State Governments. As the First Lady, Jeanette Herbert started her initiative, Uplift Families, providing parents with vital resources for families. For more than 11 years as governor and First Lady, they served their beloved Utah, the very state where they were born, grew up in, married, and raised a family in. Even above the numerous awards and honors they have received over the years, they are most proud of their roles as husband and wife, parents of 6, and grandparents of 17. Due to the restriction of public gatherings during the pandemic, Uplift Families was unable to hold their annual live parenting conference. Rising above the darkness of challenge, Uplift Families joined with KUTV Channel 2 to take the annual event to primetime television. The first annual Parenting Tips televised special aired on September 19th of 2020. It was the Herberts' last year of service as Utah's governor and First Lady, and their remarks were inspiring.
Parents, the bottom line is it all starts in the home. If we can strengthen our home and our children, we will see a big difference, not just in our families, but in our very communities. Gary and I have worked to maintain strong bonds with our own children and grandchildren and have seen the important influence that we can be in their lives.
We are blessed in Utah to have parents that understand the value of the family and are working hard to protect this sacred unit of our society. We hope that you will continue in your efforts to strengthen your homes and families so that we can continue to enjoy the quality of life we experience here in our great state. By supporting each other and working together, we can make a difference.
I strongly believe that being a parent is the most important job you will ever have.
And now, from the Resilience Building Toolkit, the song, Take a Stand.
Parents build resilient kids when they teach them to stand up to peer pressure and make safe and healthy choices.
You gotta elect to take a stand.
Brandy Vega served in the United States Army as a broadcast journalist and public affairs specialist, and then went on to be the youngest reporter at Fox News. She continued her career in television and media production, and even built her own studio. She is founder of Good Deed Revolution and the global streamed broadcast Live Live. Brandy is no stranger to adversity. Earlier in life, she found herself divorced with 2 daughters and not knowing how to move forward. Her story is one of resilience, motherhood, adoption, and miracles.
When I became single, it was really hard for me because I always wanted more children and I felt like I had a boy out there. I had done a story on foster care when I worked in news, and this little girl, I asked her what she wanted for Christmas, and she told me she just wanted a family. It really broke my heart because some kids just want to be loved and they just need somebody to take care of them. And I thought, I'm not good at a lot of things, but I love my kids so much. And I could love this little girl or a little boy. But I didn't know if it was possible to be a foster parent as a single parent. So I went into the state and ended up getting my foster care license as a single mom. I thought I could pay it forward and help love a kid and be successful at that. So I got my foster care license and I started taking in kids here and there. I hadn't had a real placement, and I was building my studio and running my nonprofit. And I was 3 months into building Vega Media Studios when I got a call from my caseworker, and he said, I have a little boy here. He's 2 days old. He was born on meth. If you can come and get him today, he'll be yours. This never happens because they only give babies to 2-parent families. It was kind of a fluke. And so I said yes, and I went down there and I got my baby. So I had this beautiful baby boy, Blaze, and my 2 teenage daughters who were really helpful. I picked him up from daycare one day. He was 2.5 years old. It was in December. I picked him up and I said, where do you want to go? And he said, I want to go to my daddy's. And I said, buddy, you don't have a dad. And he started to cry and he said, but I really want a dad. It broke my heart. It was Christmas time. And he was like, I want a dad for Christmas. And it was really hard because I was giving him this beautiful life as a single mom, but I couldn't give him that. And he was starting to need that. So for my New Year's resolution in 2019, I went on my social media and I said, guess what? 2020 is the year. It's going to be great. Who knew 2020 would be a nightmare? But I said, I want to find him a daddy and me a great husband this year. So if you have any recommendations, let me know. March 2020 happens. I have to have a medical procedure. I'm sick. My oldest daughter's there with me. She said she wanted something. I said, well, I want a boyfriend. She goes, that's crazy. You have a lot of guys who are interested in you. And I had a dating app that I never looked at because I was too busy and I was producing an online course. She goes, now's the perfect time. The pandemic had just started. It's March 2020. So I got home that day and it was just kind of a fluke. I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll just look. And I got on the dating app. I picked up my phone and I start scrolling through it. Anyone who's been on a dating app knows how ridiculous it is. And I'm sitting there scrolling left, and my little boy comes up. He had just turned not even 3 yet. He's almost 3. He comes up and he goes, who's that? He's looking at these guys. I'm like, nobody. How do you explain to a less than 3-year-old you're on a dating app and who these random guys are? So I'm scrolling through and he would not leave me alone. And finally, he keeps going, who's that? Who's that? I said, does this guy look like your dad? No. Is this your daddy? No. We're going through all these pictures. He's saying no to everybody. It was kind of comical. He had never done that in his life. All of a sudden, this picture pops up and he loses his mind. That's my daddy. That's my daddy. He's my daddy. I said, buddy, are you sure that's your dad? He was adamant. That's my daddy. That's my daddy. And only because of that did I swipe right. Swipe right, that means I picked him. 30 minutes later, and we continued to go through. We probably went through 50, 60 pictures. He said no to everybody but one guy. 30 minutes later, that guy messages me. The next day, we meet up for a fizz. We sit in the car because you can't go on a date. 4 hours later, then the next day, and we were together every day, and shortly after we got married. It was amazing that my 2-year-old picked his daddy, and then this year, his daddy picked him when he was adopted legally in the court system.
Brandy finds joy being a wife, a mother of 2 biological children, 1 adopted son, 1 surrogate child, and stepmom to 2 children. Throughout her life, she has learned the art of resiliency, service, determination, and dedication to family. These are lessons that she now passes on to her children.
As a parent, as a human, I've never been happier than I am right now. That doesn't mean life is great. There's still a lot of scary things. And looking back in my life, I went through the divorce, we went through the pandemic, we went through adoption, we went through surrogacy. I almost lost a daughter in a car accident. She got a brain injury, and I almost lost another daughter to suicide. It's been hard. But here we are thriving and surviving and making a difference. I think it's critical that no matter who you are or what you're doing, if you're a parent or a kid, you can do hard things. You can get through hard things. It makes us stronger. It makes us better. So look for the good and keep fighting.
Hi, Sarah Kimmel here, your family tech expert, here to share the second layer of parental controls that you should set to help keep your family safe online. That second layer is on-device parental controls. iOS, which is iPhones, and Android devices both have built-in parental controls that you can set. Android's is called Google Family Link. iOS is under Family Sharing under your Apple iPhone settings, and then you set up screen time. Now, both of these will allow you to control the device, to set up time frames when the device is available, and to limit apps installed on the device and ask for permission for any apps to be installed. So this will help you manage the device. You can also set up on-device controls through third-party software that will help monitor those devices as well. Bark is one of those that I strongly recommend that can help you monitor social interactions and message interactions with your children so that you can keep an eye and get flagged for anything concerning that is going on those devices. Stay tuned for layer 3 of parental controls.
To learn more about Uplift Families and the presentations you've seen tonight, scan the QR code or visit upliftfamilies.org.
Who knows what today's number is?
9.
Bingo! Studies show that kids start making up their minds about alcohol as early as 9.
9. Why do we gather around the dinner table for life's important moments? It's the place where families come together, where stories are told and memories are made that last a lifetime. Dinner isn't just where food happens. It's where family happens. Research shows teens who regularly eat as a family are 33% less likely to use alcohol or illicit drugs. For more information, visit parentsempowered.org.
Hey, we're Larry H. Miller Megaplex Theaters, and we have a question. You ever watch a movie, go on some amazing journey, but you just sort of feel like you stayed home because you did? That's not going to the movies. This is going to the movies, where the seats go and the sound goes, but only if you go first. Can't go now? Go here and buy tickets to go later. Go for a screaming deal. Just go. Megaplex Theaters, where home stays home and you go to the movies.
Parenting Tips, presented by Uplift Families, KUTV Channel 2, Kiwanis Bonneville Salt Lake, WCF Insurance, Dominion Energy, Merit Medical, and the Larry H. Miller Company.
When I have bad dreams, my mom comes in and gives me hugs, and it makes me feel better. When I have a hard day, my mom takes me out for ice cream.
When I have a hard day at school, my mom will always give me a hug and tell me that everything will be okay.
When I have a bad day, my mom gives me a big hug.
When I'm going through my hard times, my dad, he likes to snuggle with me and talk through stuff.
Mom, Dad, thank you for helping me when life gets hard.
Founder of White Ribbon Week, Deanna Lamson creates fun and empowering school programs based on prevention science that protect kids and promote internet safety. Deanna has authored Power Up for Families, a series of media conversation workbooks to help families talk and create plans together. Deanna is a frequent featured speaker, helping parents navigate the media challenge positively with their families. She and her husband have 6 children.
When our children are in school, you may notice that there's a certain amount of stress that accompanies that. Worrying about a test, maybe being a little bit more irritable, or even a few tears at times. And that's normal. But a lot of parents have mentioned to me lately that they're concerned about their child being perhaps more anxious or depressed than they have been in the past. Well, I want to share with you today a little bit of brain science. If we understand how the brain works, then we can make decisions that bring some positive chemicals and brain-boosting feelings to our brains and help pick up our mood. So I want you to pretend for a minute that this is a model of your brain. Right here is where your eyes would be, and this is behind your forehead. Right here is the prefrontal cortex. That's the thinking part of the brain. It's the part that thinks rationally and makes decisions, and it helps you do your math test, right? If we were to peek inside, we would see the limbic system of the brain. That's the feeling part. That's the part that's activated when you are threatened or scared or worried or sad. And this part is the brain stem that is hard at work without you even knowing it, keeping your lungs filled with air and blood pumping from your heart. When a child is feeling anxious or depressed, it means that that limbic system is on high alert all the time. And of course, if there's a physical danger, that's an important warning that we want to get if we need to run away from a wild animal, right? But today, a lot of our kids experience threats of a different kind, a lot of them being online. What do we do when that happens? And how do we help calm that limbic system? Well, I want to share with you a tool called Tic-Tac-Toe, a tool with 3 parts, and they all start with a T. If your child ever feels worried, scared, or feels like something they've seen online isn't good or isn't right, they should first turn it off. Secondly, talk to a trusted adult, hopefully you. If you reassure your child that you will always love them and that they can talk to you about anything, you'll find that they feel safe and share with you. The third idea in Tic-Tac-Toe is turn to something active. And I love this idea because there's so many fun ways to take a negative experience and turn it into a positive one by trading those activities for something positive and wonderful. So although there's tons of things you could do, I want to bring your attention to 4 different categories. The first one is get moving. The second one, get outside. The third one, get some sleep. And the fourth one, get a hug. So let me tell you a little bit about each of those. Get moving. Any kind of exercise, whether you enjoy jumping on a trampoline or even just turning up the music in your living room and having a dance party, it brings endorphins to your brain, which creates a feeling of euphoria and actually reduces pain. Get outside. If you go outside, even for just a little while every day, the sunshine on your face, looking at nature, breathing fresh air, all brings serotonin to your brain. Serotonin is nature's best antidepressant. The third is get some sleep. While you're asleep, your brain is hard at work producing norepinephrine. And I promise that won't be on any test. But norepinephrine is the chemical that helps us manage stress. So it's no wonder on days that we don't get any sleep, it's kind of difficult to handle some of the tough challenges during the day. And the fourth one is get a hug. Any physical connection or touch produces oxytocin in the brain. Oxytocin helps us feel secure and safe and loved. So hug your kids for as long as they'll let you. And if they don't want a hug, then there's lots of other ways that you can connect with physical touch, whether it's a high five or rubbing their back or a pat on the back or maybe even brushing their hair or painting their fingernails. If you would like to encourage your child to perhaps turn off the screen and try some of these brain-boosting activities, we've created this Brain Bingo. It's filled with 25 brain-boosting activities that each bring positive chemicals to your brain. Perhaps you'll want to try to get a bingo or even a blackout as a family. So I hope some of these tips have been helpful for you today and give you some tools to use when you're feeling a little bit down or when you'd like to just have a pick-me-up.
My name is Nyankoro Ye Samake from Mali, Africa. I am from the village of Welesibugu, founded by my great-great-grandfather, Welese.
Raised in Mali, the most impoverished country in West Africa, Ye Samake experienced the lowest depths of poverty. His parents were determined to end the cycle for their children and rise above their circumstances. Their sacrifices were beyond comprehension. Here is Ye's story.
Growing up, we were very poor. My family was very modest. My brothers and sisters, I have 17 brothers and sisters that we grew up together. And my parents really went above and beyond to provide for us. Mali being one of the poorest countries on earth, and Welesibugu being one of the poorest area of the poorest country on earth, you can imagine how deprived we were. But we didn't know this because everybody else in the neighborhood was just as poor and destitute as we were. My father decided to break the cycle of poverty because his father, his grandfather were all poor. And he did not want his children to grow up in poverty. So he decided that the only way to break the cycle of poverty in our family was to send boys and girls, all of us, to school.
Ye, along with his brothers and sisters, were able to realize their parents' dream and break the chains of poverty through receiving an education.
All of my siblings, especially brothers, have had at least a bachelor's degree, some a master's degree, and a few of us have a PhD in chemistry, in psychology, and I have a brother who's an engineer in animal science. So none of us know the hunger that we've known, and our children will never be affected the way we were.
After graduating from college in Mali, Ye went on to receive a master's degree from Brigham Young University. And while at BYU, he met his wife, Marissa, who's from India. Rather than raise their family in America, they returned to Mali, where Ye became the mayor of Welesibugu and a 3-time presidential candidate. Ye also served as Mali's ambassador to India and 9 other Southeast Asian countries. He is founder of Empower Mali, a foundation that provides schools, housing, and services to rural villages. Above everything, Ye's family remains the center of his life.
Yes, I do remember my dad raising us was determined that we spend time together. Time was very important for him. That's why he would have us stay in the farm together for a long time. And remembering the way he raised us, we want to pass those values down to our children. Values of service, the values of spending time together, but also the values of prayer and a sense of God in our lives. But also, we want our children to be curious, to learn, and to go experience life. We don't want to shield them. We want them to live the fullest of their potential.
Raising their 3 beautiful children with empowerment and the promise of hope is the priority Ye and Marissa have. As a father, Ye remembers the sacrifices of his parents that enabled him to break the cycle of poverty, only to become a global leader and humanitarian.
I am very grateful for my father and my mother and the sacrifice they have made for us to be where we are, for the great vision and the wisdom that were behind the way they educated us. We hope that our children will appreciate the same values and that we can perpetuate these family values, which are universal values for many communities. So I love our parents, and they have served us so well.
And now it's time for another song from the Resilience Building Toolkit, Thinking Positive.
Parents build resilient kids when they teach them to think positive and rise above the challenges.
I'm thinking positive, and that's a fact. My attitude affects the way I act. I'm thinking positive, and that's a fact. My attitude affects the way I act. There may be problems all around, yeah, but I won't let them get me down. Thinking positive, and that's a fact. My attitude affects the way I act. I'm thinking positive, and that's a fact. My attitude affects the way I act. Thinking positive. Siento bien. It's my attitude. Mi actitud. Think positive. Siento bien. It's my attitude. I'm thinking positive, and that's a fact. My attitude affects the way I act. I'm thinking positive, and that's a fact. My attitude affects the way I act. De vez en cuando encuentro problemas. Si siento bien, los puedo hacer pequeños. I'm thinking positive, and that's a fact. My attitude affects the way I act. I'm thinking positive, and that's a fact. My attitude affects the way I act. I'm thinking positive, and that's a fact. My attitude affects the way I act. I'm thinking positive. My attitude affects the way I act.
Hello again, Sarah Kimmel here, your family tech expert, here to share the third layer of parental controls that will help keep your family safe online. This layer is called On Network, and this means your wireless network inside your home or the cellular network for phones and other types of devices. This is the best place to put a content filter. So a content filter will help keep out any inappropriate sites from any of the devices on your network, including gaming systems and smart TVs. Now, this will also help you control time limits on those devices. So if you want the internet to not be available on a smart TV in your home, or you want to block YouTube from a smart TV in your home, you can do both of those things through a Wi-Fi router that has parental controls built in. My recommendation is the Griffin router, and this will help content filtering on your network and control time limits on every device on your network that has internet access. You can also set up these kind of things on the cellular network through your cellular carrier, whether it's Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T. They all have parental control filters that you can create on those devices as well. So that is the third layer of parental controls, and hopefully you're a little more prepared to keep your family safe online.
Uplift Family's resources and information are helping parents build stronger families and resilient kids, but we need your help. Please scan the QR code and make a tax-deductible contribution today.
Oh, excuse me.
So, been working out?
Nah, I just dropped in to make sure you're strongly disapproving of underage drinking.
Yeah, well, she might seem a little young, but I definitely do.
America First Credit Union Friday Night Rivals. And there he goes! Touchdown! Your school, your team, live on KMYU. He cuts back. Touchdown! The best matchups from around the state. And into the end zone. Live, local, high school football.
Friday Night Rivals, brought to you by America First Credit Union and presented by R.C. Willey. Friday nights at 7 on KMYU.
Parenting Tips, presented by Uplift Families, KUTV Channel 2, Kiwanis Bonneville Salt Lake, WCF Insurance, Dominion Energy, Merit Medical, and the Larry H. Miller Company.
My mom is my best friend.
My parents smile at me and they play with me and they're so much fun. If we didn't have parents or mothers, we wouldn't be here right now. My mom and dad make me laugh when they tickle me.
My dad shows that he loves me is by asking how my day went and just sitting down and really talking with me and making sure that I'm really okay.
It is now my privilege to announce Mauly Bonner and the exclusive debut of the music video for his song Invincible, featuring artists Alex Boyer, Casey Elliott, David Osmond, Clotilde Bonner, Yahosh Bonner, Dallin Bayless, Aaliyah Rose, and Brad Robbins. Mauly Jr. Bonner is one of the most sought-after vocal directors in the music industry. He writes for and develops some of the biggest names in pop music. He recently focused his talents towards cinema as the writer and director of His Name is Green Flake, a movie that follows the life of free and enslaved Black pioneers. The film has won Best Film and Best Director in a number of prestigious film festivals in Los Angeles, London, Rome, and other places. Mauly and his wife have 2 children. Mauly Bonner.
When I'm not making movies, I'm making videos on my phone of my children. So if you're a parent like me, then your phone is full of memory with your kids. And I have 2 of them. One, my older son, Gio, who's 9 years old, and my daughter, Ari, who's 6. And just recently, my son came to me and wanted to tell me what he was learning in school. And I said, tell me, Gio, tell me. And he told me about history. And he was talking about Abraham Lincoln and the Civil War and the Union and the Confederates. And I said, well, tell me more, Gio, tell me more. And he said, well, no, that's about it. I said, well, what else? He said, no, that's it. And I was heartbroken. I tried not to show it to him. I was actually fighting back tears, and I had to tell him, did you know that that war freed my great-grandfather, your family? And he was like, oh. And I had to teach him that our people were enslaved, and because hundreds of thousands of Americans came together to fight against that, they were now free. And he was so happy to hear that. And that's not just a story for my Black child, that's a story for all children. When we look at history and stories that include people that don't look like us, they are equally as important to our children. I hope that we all can take responsibility and take ownership in teaching our children about all cultures and people. One of my biggest fears as a parent is to get a phone call saying that my child is being bullied at school, or some would say even worse, that my child was the bully. And how do we even overcome that challenge? How do we beat that? We have to teach our children about the differences between them and other children and the beauty of those differences. So that when they see someone that looks different than them, that sounds different than them, that they can see them as friend or family. That they're not blindsided by history they've never heard of and think that they're so different from who they are. I think that it's a duty of a parent to teach our children about those that came before them. I want us as parents to get to where we don't have to wait to where we're faced with this challenge of now my kid is being bullied, or now my kid has said something that I can't believe they said. We can be the one to teach them. And even though we have coaches and teachers and those who are religious, you have faith leaders and Bible study coaches, we can be the one to teach our children what we would have them learn and draw strength from. And there's so much strength to draw from. One of the stories that I want you to hold on to is those of enslaved ancestry, especially those like Green Flake. who did unimaginable things for his people, for his country, and for those who didn't even look like him. He was invincible. And that's why I wrote this next song that you're going to listen to. Invincible is one of the songs that is featured. The music is featured in the film His Name is Green Flake, and it lets us all know, no matter who you are, where you come from, that you can overcome all obstacles, no matter what challenge that is. You are invincible, and our children can be invincible.
In a world full of air, I've been drowning. From the silence, I'm making a sound. Should I give up or go for the mountain? To reach the top, I can't stay on the ground. I've been writing pages. How's it gonna end? And if I just created new chapters began, the greatest story I've ever told. Make me invincible. Won't spend my life wishing that I had done more. Make me invincible. To live without trying, then what's it all for? One life. Wasn't chosen or even selected. Don't need someone to tell me I'm more.
Not afraid of the chance of rejection. I can fly if I stay on the floor.
I've been writing pages. How's it gonna end? If I just created new chapters began. The greatest story I've ever told. Make me invincible. Won't spend my life wishing that I had done more. Make me trying, then what's it all for? Make me invincible. I won't spend my life wishing that I had done more. Make me invincible. To live without trying, then what's it all for? One life.
For more than a decade, Uplift Families has become a trusted provider of vetted resources, giving parents tools to keep their kids safe in these challenging times. Now, if you have questions regarding issues that children and families face today, you can find answers at upliftfamilies.org. Enjoy parenting tips, videos, articles, and other information that strengthens families. The highlight of upliftfamilies.org is a state-of-the-art parent resource center that features over 1,000 vetted links to trusted family information sources. Simply search by keyword, age, or topic. Whatever challenges the future brings, Uplift Families is here when you need us most. Thank you for joining us for Parenting Tips.